Welcome back, grade 7s, to another religious education lesson. We are continuing with our topic, rites of passage. Now, in the previous lessons, you learned about rites of passage of birth, rites of passage of coming of age. Now we are moving on to adulthood rites of passage, and this is marriage rites in 4 major religions. Now, family life is central in all of the major religions, so marriage is used to mark the beginning of a new family. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define key terms such as marriage, polygamy, wedding, vows, chuppah, arranged marriage, common law union, visiting relationship, NIKAH, ketubah, dowry, and companionship. You will also discuss the significance of arranged marriage in the religions that it is practiced in. You will examine the significance of various rituals in wedding ceremonies. You will explain why are vows important. You will identify individuals who take part in wedding ceremonies and, of course, show awareness of the importance of rites of passage associated with marriage. For the next few slides, I want you to take some time to observe the definitions of the key terms. Feel free to pause the video if the slides are moving too fast. Let us continue. Before we look at the religions individually, let us have an understanding of what is marriage. Marriage is a legal recognized union or relationship between a man and a woman as husband and wife. It is an important requirement of this union in most cases that neither the man nor the woman is married to someone else at the same time. And if you notice, I said in most cases. When we go further in the lesson, we're going to recognize that in some countries it is okay for a man to have more than one wife at the same time. In all religions, a marriage ceremony is an important and happy event. Most religious people have their wedding ceremony in a place of worship, but this is not always the case. Have you ever heard the term arranged marriages before? Okay, this is the practice of parents arranging the marriage of their children and deciding who they will marry, and it is still common in some cultures and religions. This is especially true for Hinduism and Islam. In this culture, it is argued that marriage is far more than just two people deciding to live together for the rest of their lives. They believe it brings together people and unites families, and it is important to find out whether this union will be successful or not. They believe the match stands a better chance of working if the combined wisdom of the two families is sought before a final decision is made. Even though arranged marriages is accepted in Islam, they believe that the Quran stresses that every marriage must be entered into freely by the couple. That means no one should be forced to marry someone against his or her will out of ignorance. Wedding customs, beliefs, and rituals. Now, there are various customs and beliefs in weddings that you are familiar with, and you're also going to learn about the other customs that are in the other religions. Here are a few. The bride wearing something gold, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. You might be familiar with this one. The cake parade. In Judaism, a groom crushes a wine glass beneath his feet to symbolize the suffering of the Jewish people down the ages. Some may also say it represents hard times that the couple will face in their marriage. In Hinduism, a Hindu couple wearing a garland and walking around the holy fire 7 times, and also sharing a special marriage feast as a part of a Muslim's wedding. And in Rastafari, the crowning of the bride and the groom as king and queen. The first religion that we will look at is Christianity. Now, like other religions, Christianity places a very high importance on marriage. In the Bible, the link between husband and wife is compared to the relationship between Christ and the church. And Jesus taught that marriage should be both loving and permanent. Although wedding services vary between the different religions, they all stress the same basic beliefs. Another name used for marriage in Christianity is holy matrimony. It is common in the religion that marriage should be lifelong. It should be a faithful union and partnership that needs to be worked at. A covenant between two people. Another name for covenants is agreement. It is a relationship in which each person offers the other love, support, and forgiveness. The ideal environment in which to bring up a child, or the ideal environment to bring up children in. Now, if you should attend a Christian marriage ceremony, here are some important rituals that you are expected to see. Now, during the service, the couple make their vows to each other in the presence of God. Now, these vows usually involve the couple promising each other to love each other for the rest of their lives, in good times and bad times, for better, for worse, for the rest of their lives. Next, the groom then places a ring on the fourth finger of the bride's left hand, and she may do the same thing in return. Now, it's important to note that in some Christian denominations, a ring may not be involved at all. The priest or elder, and in some cases pastor or marriage officer, will tell them or proclaim that you are now husband and wife. That which God had joined together, let no man divide. Prayers are said for the couple. There are also Bible reading, hymns, and a sermon. The signing of the register is a legal requirement. After this, the couple receive their marriage certificate. The marriage certificate makes the marriage legal in a country, but the vows and the proclaiming of the elder or the pastor makes it legal in the sight of God. Let's move on to Judaism, Jewish wedding. Now, the Talmud, that is Talmud, an ancient Jewish book, says that without a wife, a man is incomplete. The traditional idea is that a man should study first and then marry. If, however, he cannot wait to marry, he can reverse the order. In the Jewish faith, marriage is seen as a gift from God, bringing great joy and peace to the couple. A wedding is a great opportunity for the whole Jewish community to come together and share the couple's joy. A Jewish home is set up that will, it is hoped, soon to be blessed with the gift of children. Which would mean, in the Jewish way of understanding, marriage is incomplete until children come along and they are a gift from God. Jewish wedding traditions. It is traditional for a Jewish wedding to take place on a Tuesday. This is because in creating the world, God said twice that the third day of creation, the Tuesday, was good. In practice, though, a Jewish wedding can now take place on any day of the week as long as it is not a festival or a Sabbath day. Before the service takes place, the groom signs the ketubah. This is the wedding document. In the ketubah, the groom promised to work hard and to protect his wife in years ahead. It is important to note that the ketubah outlines their duty to each other and the groom's responsibility to his wife if they divorce. The ketubah is also signed by two witnesses. If you should attend a Jewish wedding, here are some important rituals that you would see. The service begins with two blessings. The bride and groom share a goblet of wine, a symbol of joy in Jewish tradition, before the groom places a plain gold ring on the bride's finger. Now, in a traditional Jewish wedding ceremony, the wedding ring is placed on the bride's right hand index finger, but other traditions place it on the middle finger or the thumb, most commonly in recent times. Today, the ring usually is moved to the left hand right finger after the ceremony. After the ketubah had been read out loud, 7 blessings are pronounced over the couple and another glass of wine is drunk. The groom then crushes an empty wine goblet between his feet. This reminds the couple that their times together in the years ahead will be full of good times as well as challenging times. The crushing of the glass also helps Jewish people to remember the destruction of the temple, that's the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Alright, let's move on to religion number 3, the Muslim faith, the Islamic religion. In Islam, their wedding ceremony is called a nikah. While Muslim weddings tend to be arranged, especially in Muslim countries, the Quran makes it clear that two who signs the marriage contract must be making a free decision to marry each other. Otherwise, the marriage is not legal in the sight of Allah. And I'm sure you remember what an arranged marriage is. Now, before the wedding ceremony takes place, the groom must present the bride with a dowry, which becomes her private property. The first part of the dowry is paid immediately, but the second part is only handed over if the husband requests a divorce. There must be 2 witnesses to every marriage, to every Muslim marriage, and one of them must be a man. Muslim weddings. What would you see if you attend a Muslim wedding? Well, Muslim weddings vary between different Islamic countries, but there is often a religious ceremony where a marriage contract is drawn up and also a public ceremony. In some non-Muslim countries, there are other legal requirements such as the registration of the marriage, and of course these legal requirements has to do with the laws of the particular country that the couple lives in. Although most Muslim weddings take place in masjid, this is not essential. The recital of verses from the Quran lies at the heart of the service. After a talk by the Imam explaining the responsibilities of the husband and wife to each other, the couple exchange rings. And I hope you realize here that Imam is equivalent to like a pastor or a rabbi. Pastor in Christianity, rabbi in Judaism. After the formal ceremony of drawing up a wedding contract or a marriage contract, there is often a celebration called walima, which means gathering. Sometimes this takes place straight away and sometimes at a later date. Muslim marriages should never be carried out secretly but must be declared publicly. A walima makes sure that the public declaration happens. Let me spell walima for you. Walima spells W-A-L-I-M-A-H. That's walima, W-A-L-I-M-A-H. As I said before, Muslim weddings vary depending on the country in which the couple live. Some brides wear white dress, others wear more traditional clothing. In many cultures, especially both Muslims and Hindu, brides and their female relatives and friends have their hands painted with henna, a natural dye. It is not usually for wedding celebration to last, but it's to last for several days. In a previous slide, I mentioned the term polygamy. I want you to watch the following video and answer these questions below. Please have your pens and notebook ready. Write down the questions, then watch the video.
And the question is, could you please tell me the position of Islam on polygamy?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu wasallam wa baraka ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Polygamy in Islam is something that, as usual, takes the 5 rulings that we've mentioned before, which is it can be obligatory, it can be recommended, it can be permissible, and it can also be not recommended, and it can be forbidden. So it depends on the status of a person. If he feels that staying with one wife might lead him to fall into sin, or he doesn't feel that, he's almost certain that he cannot be fulfilled by his wife due to her illness or due to anything else, then it's obligatory for him to get another wife. And if he is certain that by marrying another wife he's not going to fulfill the rights of both, or he will be unfair to one of them, either in sponsoring or in other terms that he should pay attention to, then this marriage becomes forbidden. So it depends. But in short, polygamy is something that is found and permissible to be done in Islam, and there are many reasons where a person could have to get married to another wife, or to a third wife, or even to a fourth wife. So it depends on the case of this person. In short, it is something, it's a part of Islam to get married once you have the need to do so.
It is important to note that for polygamy to take place, it must be legal in the country that the husband and wives live. It may be legal in some Muslim countries, but for example in Jamaica, that is not a Muslim country, polygamy is illegal. Hindu weddings. Hindu weddings are also known as VIVAHA. In Hinduism, marriage is the 13th samskara. Hindu marriages are often arranged, and weddings can be spectacular and last for days. Hindu weddings are normally colorful and filled with light. It's usually a big celebration. A Hindu wedding can take place anywhere, but in some countries, a Hindu couple need to check if their Hindu marriage is legal. The wedding ceremony in Hinduism. Before the service, the bride's hands and feet are specially decorated with henna. This is an orange dye from a plant for the ceremony, and she wears a red sari. To begin the service, worship is offered to Ganesha, the elephant god, before the holy fire is lit. As you are aware that Hinduism is a polytheistic religion, meaning they worship many gods, and for every occasion a god is assigned for that occasion. Now Ganesha is the god that is worshipped for weddings in Hinduism. If you should attend a Hindu wedding ceremony, here are some important rituals that you would see. You would see the couple making vows in front of the holy fire. The bride usually wears red, and her wedding outfit is tied to the groom's clothing as a symbol of their binding together. The bride's mother may also help her to step onto a stone, which symbolizes her steadfastness through the ups and downs of marriage life, to be prepared for her marriage life. Another important ritual that you would see is the bride and the groom making walk around the fire 7 times, and at the end of the ceremony they take 7 steps together. The first step is taken to lead them towards God, and the other steps are for strength, good health, wealth, happiness, and children. The final step they take together is to mark lifelong friendship. Now that we have been through all 4 major religions, let's check your learning. Please answer the following questions from these 2 slides. And remember, if the slides are going too fast, feel free to pause, write your questions, and also share what you don't understand in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond. You have made it to the end of this lesson. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any question, please write them in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer them for you. Now please subscribe, like, and share the video. Thank you.